So I've been playing Pokemon Pokopia for about 50 hours now, and let's just say that it's probably the greatest game on Nintendo Switch 2. It definitely quietly fixes a lot of issues that I've seen with other previous Switch 2 games and mixes it into the mix with Animal Crossing, Pokemon, and also Dragon Quest builders. It really gives you that perfect game that you've always wanted. So in this video, we're going to have major spoilers for Pokemon Pokopia. If you're okay with that, let's get straight into the video. Starting everything off, this game is addictive. Like, when I say it's addictive, it's really addictive. It really gets you zoomed into the game, hoping to figure out what's next, where did the humans go, how am I going to find them, and so much more. The things that you can do, the areas that you can discover, the places that you can find is honestly so crazy. It's like the first time that you've ever picked up one of your favorite video games to this date. You really realize that this place is much bigger than previously anticipated. Maybe like you're picking up The Legend of Zelda, for example. You start off inside some little town and all of a sudden you make your way across a vast ocean if you're playing The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. It's kind of like that, but in more of an Animal Crossing situation. And not going to say that Animal Crossing is bad, this game really takes that and builds around it, making a fantastic game, a fantastic piece of art, and so much more. So let's go with Animal Crossing New Horizons. This game released back in 2020, really setting the stage for the hype of everyone around there. Everyone was talking about Animal Crossing on what they built and what they couldn't do, but now we got Pokopia, and this one takes Animal Crossing and really makes it 4 or 5 times even greater. Because the reason why I say 4 or 5 times is because you have one island on Animal Crossing that you can fully build, you can fully make. If you get the DLC, you have another island essentially that you can fully develop. But in Pokemon Pokopia, you have 4, or should I say 5 different biomes that you can go in. Now, first off, you have the Withered Wasteland, which is of course the main first starting point of the game. Then you have the Blake Beach, which is another area, which really takes you back into Kanto, but essentially this whole game is based in the Kanto, but this is where I noticed it most. Then you also have the Rocky Ridge, which really is a cool area. It gives you like different train tracks, and it's pretty much like a mine area, which is really cool. And then we got Sparkling Skylands.
Is Skylands, an ancient world of wonder and mystery. For generations.
Oh shoot, not that Skyland, this Skylands. But overall, all these areas are different and unique, and they have a different story. Like, if you do the story, every single one will feel a little bit different. And it's honestly really great that way. You pretty much encounter a legendary at the end of the area once you pretty much do the entire story, which is honestly really great. Some of the stories, you will have to light up the town, for example, which honestly, my favorite one so far has been, of course, Blake Beach. I just really did enjoy that storyline. I thought it was great. I really especially like Pikachu, and this one pretty much gives you another version of Pikachu, so that's why. But then you also have the Withered Wastelands, which essentially you have to make the entire thing moist, is essentially the storyline for that. Make everything all wet and green, and there you go. That's pretty much your story. You have to rebuild the Pokemon Center. In this one, I don't think it's an option, but the other ones, it's essentially an option to rebuild that Pokemon Center. But this Withered Wasteland is essentially the island that I use to make whatever I want. Like, it's pretty much the one that I want to develop fully how the town actually looks. But then we have, of course, the Rocky Ridge. You have to help Gridden to make a whole like supper for all the Pokemon, all the people in town. You want to see where the humans went, so that's what you do. And then all of a sudden, the big boss of the legendary Pokemon comes to be, which is honestly really awesome. And of course, we have the Sparkling Skylands, which is just a really cool area because it allows you to essentially fly across. You meet Dragonite and you get to fly to different islands, which is honestly a really cool feeling about that, because then you can fully transform, go to one island, go to the next island, go to the next island, and it's completely up to you. I just really think that Pokemon Pokopia is just an amazing game. And I know there's a lot of you out there like, yeah, this game is probably my favorite game. Favorite Switch 2 out of the whole bunch. It definitely is probably my favorite Nintendo Switch 2 game because of all the things that you can do. And that wasn't done. We named off 4 of the areas, but in fact there's a 5th area, which is honestly really cool. It might be the coolest thing. Because let's just say that you didn't want to take place in the main story. Well, then you can go straight to this island and make whatever you want. Like, this is a completely barren wasteland. There's about 3 different islands that each have sort of their separate story, but it still is really interesting. You can make whatever you want. If you want to make a roller coaster, you can make a roller coaster. If you want to beach a boat, you can beach a boat. If you wanted to make 50 houses and try to make a whole city, you can make a whole city. It's completely up to you. It's completely your journey. And of course, on that island in specific, you'll find more of the 3rd stage Pokemons over there. So of course, you got your Charizard, your Blastoise, your Venusaur. You will find them over there on that island. And that island is actually called Pallet Town. Now, I know, Pallet Town, straight from Kanto. Well, technically you can name this one whatever you want. Because for me, I'm named it Bubble Town. Now, there's a reason for that, because my first ever character name in a Pokemon game was actually just Bubble. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna name it Bubble Town, but you can name it whatever you want. So honestly, this is great in so many different ways. But honestly, there's one more thing. There's another thing that you can do in this game, and I really, really like it for that. You can go and find the legendary birds, and you can make a whole temple, which is really cool. If you wanted to, you could turn it into a house. If you wanted to, you can make whatever you want. It's really cool, and it's really where you find the legendary birds. Legendary birds are fantastic and awesome, and surprisingly, I don't think I have any footage of them, but there's just other footage on screen, because one of the main reasons of that is handheld mode. Playing this game in handheld mode is definitely my favorite part, because honestly, who doesn't want to sit back and relax with their Nintendo Switch, maybe be watching TV while playing the game, or right before you go to bed, just a relaxing spot and playing in handheld mode. I've honestly been using that mode the most because it really keeps me engaged in the game. Sure, there's nothing wrong with playing it on TV. If you want to, that is perfect. But for me, I feel like cozy games are just better on like a handheld mode device, which is really, really awesome. So overall, I think that this game is potentially my favorite game, my favorite Nintendo Switch 2 game, and I will say that it's probably better than Animal Crossing, because again, it fixes a lot of the things. Instead of only being able to craft one thing, instead of being able to just go to the crafting table and craft only one thing, and then you have to repeat the animation so many times, you can just pick how many items you want to craft, and there you go. But that's not the only thing that you really get to do. Essentially, how I like to play games is getting a little bit of a note on what to do. Some games, cozy games mostly, I want a little bit of a note on what to do, and this game really follows through that. You can just go over to the Pokemon Center, okay, quest, click on quest, and you see all your little challenges that you have to do. You can go on and make those challenges, but usually you'll pretty much do them passively, especially if you've been using the game and the time to renovate your town and make it pretty much how you want it to specifically look. I think that that is definitely the best idea and the best way to play a Pokemon game. Overall, I'll be making a full 100 breakthrough once I fully 100% the game, and once I fully make my entire town the greatest thing possible, I'll make sure to show you that. But overall, what do you think about this? Do you think that Pokemon Pokopia is the greatest cozy game right now, or do you think that is not the case? Actually, on my calculations, Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley or something like that is so much better. And that's completely okay. You have your own opinion. You're the one who's playing the game, so hey, you can have your own opinion on that. Hey, if you wanted to say my cozy game is in fact Skylanders, I would be like, yeah, that's a great cozy game. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Consider hitting the like button, maybe subscribing if you're new.